Well, 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 if it isn't the Three Musketeers.
Well, good heavens. Hello, Roger. Long time no see.
It has been a while indeed. Surprised to see you still on Sodor.
Well, we had a few years stint away from the island, but we're back for good now, rebuilding the last remaining part of the Southern Mainland Railway.
Yes, the line to Kirk Ronan, I heard. Reviving the old stuff.
Apparently so. Are you going to help with that in any way?
I think that was the intention. After I'm restored, I'm to join you on the remaining construction work and eventually the full operations of it.
I see. Well, how fitting, actually. All the former stock of the Southern Mainland Railway returning to their former stomping ground.
Well, not all the old stock.
All the old stock that's on the island, at least.
Yeah, we can't really revive the past to 100% accuracy.
Of course not. Times have changed. For one, the line between here and Kildane has been rerouted for a straighter run. We also, of course, have some new rolling stock with regards to coaching stock. Finally rid of those god-awful coaches.
Good riddance. They were not fun to work with.
No, indeed. But I am curious, Roger. You've been away from the island for 25 years now, and you haven't exactly returned in the best-looking state, I must say. Where have you been?
I've been places. I was purchased by the London, Brighton and South Coast when I left the island back in the day. It was a nice place, the engines were fine, and management was certainly better than what I'd become used to. Eventually I was joined by Riker, Vermoy and Reed, and Jamie, Jacob and Jesse, who were also purchased by the railway, but we didn't get to work together on the railway for very long. Not even a year after they had arrived. We were called to be sent to the front lines to aid the war effort.
You were sent to the front lines?
Yes, we were. All four of us, plus Jacob and Jesse, at least from the London, Brighton and South Coast. Crazy to think they sent so many of us since they were already struggling a bit with their own loads, but that's what happened. We were also joined by a few other engines from other railways, including Norris. Him and Niall had ended up with the London and South Western Railway, and apparently they saw Norris more fit for wartime service. Don't really know what they saw, but whatever. Before long, we were living completely different lives than before. So many troop trains, so many ammunition trains, so many trains in general. And with the constant fear of attack at any point, it was not exactly easy. Nor was it any safe, as we would figure out one fateful day when we suffered a large bombing raid by the Germans, which unfortunately took out Riker, Vermoy, Reed and Jesse, which makes me a sole survivor of my class, and Jacob's class reduced by a third.
Good lord, that took a turn I wasn't prepared for. Jeez, that's heartbreaking to hear, Roger.
Those German bastards. Much of what I had remaining from here, gone. All of a sudden, and just as suddenly, it was just me and Jacob. Well, and Norris, but then also not Norris.
Wait, what happened to Norris?
Honestly, I have absolutely no idea what happened to him. We went to sleep one night, and the following day, he was not there. There was no raid, no attack, no nothing. A quiet night for once, and he just disappeared. Very in character for him, I suppose, but still very unsettling.
Unsettling indeed. He really was a strange engine.
I think that's a bit of an understatement.
Very true. But what happened afterwards?
Well, when the war finally concluded, I felt more alone than ever. Jacob had been sent back early due to ongoing issues that couldn't be addressed in France, so it was just reduced to me. Of course, I was expecting to return home like Jacob, but that wasn't to be apparently, because I never returned home. Apparently I had been written off since they thought I'd also been lost in that raid that killed the others, which is stupid in hindsight since they received reports following that clearly indicated I was very much alive. Maybe they just didn't want me back. I don't know. In any case, I was now stranded in France. Luckily, I was moved to a small local railway that needed a bit of help with recovering from the war. I was tested and quickly found my footing there. I didn't know much French by then, so I had to figure that out along the way as well. And, well, I ended up working on that railway for a decade and a half, when things went bad again. Simply put, in the wake of the recession, the railway suffered terribly financially. Lower passenger ridership and lesser goods to carry. Not helped by the fact that the roads had begun doing much of our work. Eventually, the losses became too great, and the railway had to close as well. The second railway I've run on in my life that is closed. And this time, I was really at the bottom. I had nowhere to go. I was just dumped in a siding where I ended up staying for the next 2 years. That might have honestly been the worst period of my life. All alone and without purpose. I was losing hope. But alas, I was eventually given a chance. Cause one day, a stout gentleman walked up to me and introduced himself. Sir Topham Hatt, controller of the Northwestern Railway. He was on holiday in France and had been introduced to the story of the railway. He was told I could share a bit more information about it, and I did. But the conversation eventually shifted after I told him I came from Sodor. And well, in short, I'm back here now. Shipped from France back to the UK, something that should have happened almost, well, 20 years ago.
Wow, you've had quite an adventurous life after leaving. Never thought any of us former engines would endure something like that, but I guess I'm mistaken. Indeed, But with that in mind, I must ask, Roger, how are you feeling?
Let's see. I'm a rusted piece of junk, having been sitting outside for 2 years. I've seen all my brothers die by the hands of the devil, and I've witnessed 2 railways that I call home close.
Okay, I understand. That was a stupid question.
I'm sorry. It's just I haven't had anyone that I could vent all this to. I definitely couldn't do it in French. I've just been yearning for the opportunity to do it properly.
Well, once you're running again and perhaps a little more settled, you can let it all out on us. We'll be there to listen to everything you have to say.
Thank you, Clive. I greatly appreciate that. Welcome to the outside, Roger. Thanks, Lenny. How do you feel? Well, I feel ready to start settling into a place that's hopefully a little more permanent. I can understand that. But considering how things have been going for the railway these past years, you shouldn't have anything to worry about.
That sounds good.
So, what's the agenda? Well, we're to doublehead a goods train to Kirk Ronan, after which you're to be instructed in a few final construction projects that are to be carried out. Wait, we're already running proper services here. Only goods services at the moment. Didn't want to wait too long with that. But the intention is that we start trialing passenger services soon, so we can be ready for the expected opening in a month or 2. Sounds good. But can I lead the train? Just want to make sure I remember the route. Of course you can. Then let's go.
Hello, you two.
Hello, Clive.
Good to see you out of the works finally. You look better than ever. Do you feel that as well?
I guess so. The works has definitely stepped up their game over the years. Best treatment I've ever had.
Oh, they've drastically improved their operations here. It's always a treat to go to the works now.
I can imagine. And at least something has improved since I was last here.
You should be able to notice more improvements as you settle in. For instance, did you pay any attention to the track quality?
I did. And again, an improvement, I'd say.
Very much so. And while we're talking about the line itself, what do you think of the route?
Well, things have definitely changed. Much more housing and general infrastructure. I'm at least happy that the line follows the old track plan somewhat. Also, I like that they kept the original station building at Rolf's Castle. That was always a pretty building.
I agree. It's nice to keep something of the original stuff. Have you seen the new station here at Kirk Ronan?
I did see it when pulling in here. A very impressive structure. Much grander than the old main station. I also see we haven't moved back to the port on the eastern side.
There's been a lot of new housing built on that side, so it was deemed too difficult to lay new track down to it. But that doesn't really matter. The port on this side should be more than enough to cover for it.
I hope so. It'll be good to actually get some proper amount of goods through here. Well, I can tell you, based on the goods numbers alone, there's already plenty of work for us. That's good to hear. I guess I better get started so I can help with that.
Right on you, Roger. Welcome back.
Thank you, Clive.
Matthew? Yeah? Wasn't Roger supposed to sleep here tonight? Yeah, he was. Strange. I wonder where he is. Oh, there he is. What's he doing out there? I don't know. That's not really like him. He's been standing out there all night apparently. Said it was calming. Calming? What does he need calming from? Don't really know. He didn't really say. I thought it was best just to leave him to it. Cause, well, he hasn't exactly had the best years after leaving. Fair points, I suppose that's understandable. I guess we should do the same. He's not needed for another hour and a half anyway, so he has a bit of time. You look bothered.
I am bothered.
By what? The new station?
Partly.
How so?
I don't know how you three do it, but when you've been used to the old station here at Kirkronan for, 50 years or so? Coming back to something so striking, so different, just doesn't sit right with me. In fact, that's the case for the entire line as well. It just doesn't feel the same. I know we're on the old track bed that form part of the southern mainland, but I just can't probably settle with it right now.
I get what you mean. The old Kirkronan station was smaller, quieter, and granted a little shabby at the end, but it had soul. This new one, gleaming platforms, electric lamps, proper canopies, and it doesn't really smell like the sea anymore.
No, now it just smells like paint and concrete, and strangers.
Well, that is something you have to get used to.
It's not just the station, Matthew. It's everything. I've been back for a bit now running up and down the line, and all I see is ghosts. Every curve, every passing, every point. I remember who used to run it, or who should be running it, and they're not here. I am, and I don't know why.
Because you came home, Roger. That's why.
Home? No, this isn't home. Home had Riker double-heading goods trains with me. Home had Remore constantly complaining about the smell of fish. Home had Reed just being his quiet self. Home had us staying up till very late, just chatting endlessly into the night, not worrying about the troubles the railway had. And now it's gone. All of it. replaced with clean ballast and new timetables and engines who smile like nothing happened.
We smile because we're still here. You don't think I feel it too? I remember every single face we've lost. I hear them in the rails some days. But Roger, you survived. And that means something.
But why me?
I've asked myself that too, you know. When I watched them take your nameplate off the roster board, I thought we'd lost you. And now you're back. But it's like you left behind the part of you that lived here.
Maybe I did.
Then let's help you find it again. You don't have to pretend. Not with us. Clive, Neil and I, we remember the old world too. We're the only ones left here who do. So if the new station feels too clean, if the paint's too bright or the whistle's too cheerful, then come to us. Talk, listen, or be quiet, if that's what you need. You're not alone, Roger. We're here for you.
I know, and I appreciate that. But yet, I still feel alone. Lost in the big world, not knowing where to go.
You know, I wish I had the words. Something wise. Something you could hold on to. But all I've got is the same silence you've been dragging behind you since you came home. And that's not enough, is it?
No, but I don't blame you.
I see you out on the pier constantly, when the rest of us are in the sheds. Just sitting and watching, like you're waiting for someone who isn't coming.
That's because I am.
Who?
All of them. Any of them. Just one familiar face from before the fire and smoke. One voice calling from across the yard telling me to keep up or shut up. I'd take either.
But they're not coming, Roger.
I know.
You know, considering how long it's been since we've heard anything from anyone, we all started assuming the worst, and I didn't sleep for days because of that. We all thought, well, you know what we thought. And now you're back, and I suppose I believed that would fix something, that seeing your name on the board again would make the ache settle. But it didn't, did it?
No.
And I don't know what to do about that.
You don't have to do anything, Matthew. You can't really do anything. This isn't your weight to carry.
But I want to carry something. Anything. Shift the load from you a bit. Just tell me what.
I think I'm still figuring that out myself.
You know, in that case, maybe it's alright that I don't have the right words. Maybe someone else will.
Maybe.
We're all in the sheds this afternoon. Ballast work. You don't have to show up, but if you do, we'll make space for you. Oh, hello, sir.
Hello, Clive.
What brings you over here?
Well, it's about Roger. I can tell when an engine's not happy, and his face shows that tenfold. Do you know what's wrong with him?
It's a little complicated. Basically, the best way I can describe it, he misses his old home. A lot.
But this is his old home, isn't it?
Well, think of it like this, sir. Imagine you've been living in the same house for a while. Now imagine you take a 1-week holiday, and when you come back, someone has built a completely new house where the old one used to stand. Same location, same ground, same environment, but not the same house. And in Roger's case, this applies to more than just the state of the section.
Does it also surround his brothers?
Yes, it does. I think that's what's troubling him the most. He just can't get used to the new environment. Nothing left of what he's used to, really. Apart from me, Neil and Matthew, and a handful of other assets.
Right, I understand. Has this affected his work?
Maybe not the actual work he does. He does what's expected and does it fine, but it definitely affects him socially. He prefers to spend the night by the pier instead of in the sheds. Prefers to talk to himself rather than anyone else. He's very closed in around himself.
I see. This is a tricky one. I imagine you've tried to help him.
It's the toughest challenge we've had yet. We've tried so much, but without any major effect really. And believe me, we've tried.
I believe you. Who do you think would have any chance with Roger?
Well, probably someone from the Southern Mainland days, and definitely someone that Roger was a lot closer to.
You know, I just had an idea.
What's your idea?
Do you think bringing back an old friend of mine would help him?
Depends on who.
Someone who Roger viewed with a lot of respect. Someone who tried to make the best out of the bad situation. Someone who deeply cared about him and the others. And someone who's still alive.
Do you still have contact with him?
I do. Like I said, he's an old friend of mine. Do you think he could help Roger?
Likely the best chance we have.
Very well. Excuse me then. I have to go make a call.
Bringing back the old guy. This will definitely do the trick.
What's with the expression, Roger? Oh, it's a lot of Julian? Oh, so I do look recognizable. Absolutely. You haven't aged a day. Well, a polite lie, but I'll take it. Good grief. Julian, I don't believe it. It's been so long. How are you? Well, I feel my age a bit, but I'm still alive. Trying my best. You look good for your age. Why, thank you. So, what brings you back to Sodor? Well, not a friendly visit, I'm afraid. I'm here at the request of Topham to address something. Something rather pressing, I would say. What would that be? Well, you. I heard you haven't been feeling well since you came home. I see. Maybe I should have seen this coming. You're here to fix me, I imagine. No, I wouldn't say that. I'm just here to listen to whatever you have to say. They've done a fine job with the station, haven't they? Modern, tidy, efficient. Wrong. It's too modern. Too clean. It's like someone wiped away everything that used to matter and laid something new on top, like plaster on a broken wall. And now you don't know where you are. I know exactly where I am. That's the worst part. Every sleeper I roll over reminds me of someone who isn't here. Every curve still hums with their whistles. Every mile of this section is haunted. Then why did you want Topham to bring you back? Because I thought it would feel like home again. But all I've done is prove how much I've lost. The line, the sheds, the smells, and them. Yes, them. But you haven't lost everything. You still have some of the old line left. And Neil, Clive and Matthew. Were you expecting them to survive? Not really, to be honest. I guess they were just lucky. You were lucky, Roger. Don't twist it. You're still here as well. And what good is that? What am I meant to do with survival? You're meant to live. They used to tell jokes, you know. After the worst of the fighting. Dark ones. Riker once said, if I get blown to bits, just bolt me to a flatbed and make me a memorial. I laughed, Julian. And then from one day to another, he was gone. They were gone. I saw the wreckage just the following day. I saw the corpses of my brothers being taken away. And I remembered the joke. And I didn't laugh. So tell me, Julian, what's left for a pile of rust like me now? What's left for you, Roger, is a new purpose. Not to try and replace the past. No one can do that. But to carry it forward. You're not here to forget them, nor their actions. You're here to make sure no one else does. So that's it. I'm a monument. No, you're a witness. The last one with the full story. They gave everything. You owe them one thing in return. To keep going. To keep yourself going, and keep their legacy going. Even if it hurts. Especially when it hurts. I don't know if I can, Julian. Then let the others help. Give Neil, Clive and Matthew a proper chance. Those three have been carrying the legacy of the entire Southern Mainland Railway, so they know how to approach something like that. Let them help you with that. I know they want you to, because there's one thing you need to remember, Roger. You're not alone. Not anymore. You have nothing to worry about. Take it from me, you're in a safer position right now than you've ever been. You're not going anywhere you don't want to for the foreseeable future. I thought I was done. But maybe I've just paused. Well, let's find the right signal to get you moving again. I suppose so. I guess that's a good place to start. It's a very good place to start. Thanks, Julian. I feel a lot better right now for talking to you. You're very welcome, Roger. I'm happy to help. Will you be staying? Not long, but enough to help you find your footing. Then I'll leave you to it. Thank you.
Well, look who decided to join us tonight. Did you get tired of the smell of the sea?
No, I just got tired of talking to the fish. I seek a little more company tonight.
Well, we can give you a bit of company if you'd like that.
Gladly. I want to talk about the old days for a bit, and preferably with someone who was there from the beginning.
Well, you've definitely come to the right place for that. Do you need to unload some thoughts?
Well, not any additional stuff than what I've already mentioned, but I think it's time to let it all out. Empty my smoke box a bit.
Go all out, Roger. We're all ears.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Well everyone, this looks absolutely splendid. You've all done an exceptional job of this. This will do wonderfully for the expected passenger numbers when the line reopens. Speaking of which, I've just received the final approvals for the line, so we're basically ready to open now. As such, in 2 weeks' time, passenger trains will once again run to Kirk Ronan, on the line where it all started.
That sounds fantastic, sir. We're all very excited for what's to come.
Me too, Clive. I think you'll do wonders for this region. Now, up until the opening, we'll need to carry out some trials with the coaches, so you're all prepared when the time comes. Roger, I'll be assigning you as the line's dedicated passenger locomotive. Not that you'll be handling the services alone, the others will help every now and then, but running passenger services is to be your main job. Of course, sir. That'll be a great honor to carry. On top of one more. With this distinction, I think it would only be fair and appropriate that you hold the line's opening passenger train. Me, sir? Of course. Well, I'm extremely thrilled about that, sir. Thank you so much. No problem, Roger. It's the least I can do. Is that really all for today?
Just for today, Henry. But you need some rest now.
Why now?
Well, we'll be out early tomorrow, Henry. We've got to take the Flying Kipper. Don't tell Gordon, but I think if we pull the Kipper nicely, Topham will let us pull the Express. The special coal they gave you is working well, so I think you'll be able to handle it.
It's working indeed. I've never felt better. Well, tomorrow, I'll make sure to make it a good run.